welcome to another Karma's Corner video. So this week we're going to put some art on the Red Dawn ombre that we did last week. Not going to add too much, but just a little bit to bring it more into the Christmas atmosphere. So I'm going to use some of the Nailchemy's Artisan Gel Paint in Gold. We're going to use the Empress, which is from the Divination Glass collection. We'll use some Leo, which is from the Astrology Glitter collection. Now, this was the original Leo and does not have as much hollow as the new one. So if yours looks slightly different, that's why. This is the older one. We'll also use the 10mm or the 00 liner brush. We'll use the 8mm brush. And I do also use the 000, which I didn't show you here yet, but I will show you when we go to use it. So I think we'll start with our pinky. As I said, I want to keep it kind of simple so that we still get our ombre because it is so beautiful. So I'm going to get our gold artisan and I'm going to load my brush. And, oh, did you just see that gold paint fly all over the nail and on the, don't know how that happened. No windows, no doors. It must be static or something. Anyway, I'm going to have to clean that up because it will drive me crazy looking at it. No idea how that happened. Absolutely none. Anyway, so I am going to load my brush. So I'm going to dip it into the gold. So I'm literally going to like twirl and pull, but always in the same direction. So just pulling and twisting, pull and twist to make sure that you fully load the brush so that you don't run out of paint halfway down your line. So you want to make sure it's fully coated and loaded, something like that. Excuse me. Yep. So also, excuse my trimmer is not the best today, so bear with me on it. I'm going to start. Now, some people like to start and do a quick line down. They find they work easier that way. I tend to work better if I do it slowly. I just feel I have a bit more control. Yeah, not too bad. Just a little blip there at the end. But we can fix it. You can go over it more than once too. And we are going to sugar this with the Leo. So it isn't essential that it's 100% straight. Because the Leo will cover it, but I like to try and get it as straight as I can, as it's good practice for me as well. Yeah, and I'm just a bit of a perfectionist. So I do try and make them as straight as I possibly can when I'm doing them. So just closing up my paint there. Don't leave your paints open under the lights, especially the amount of lights I use. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that line. So we'll get our Leo and our little, you need a triangular tray just to collect the excess from the Libra so that you don't waste it. You can put it back into the bottle. A little tip I learned is that if you gently tap your glitters out like this until you get a nice little flow going, then it won't come out in a big huge clump when you start to put it on the nail. So here I'm just going all the way up the nail and I'll come back down just to make sure it's all fully coated, that I have enough on it, because the artisan will soak up quite a bit of it. So make sure you have enough on there. I need to put the cap back on my Leo because I will probably spill it. And then just tap off the excess off the nail. And then into the lamp for 60 seconds as it's an artisan. So there it is. I'm just brushing off the excess off camera as I just don't want the glitter all over. So there it is. It is actually a fairly straight line. But it's a nice simple line. You still get the effect of your ombre, but you have that lovely gold hollow line down the centre. So very simple, but it really is effective. Okay, so moving on then, I think I'm going to have to wipe off that glitter, yeah. We will move on to the middle finger. So on this finger, what I did notice, this one is buffed. The reason being that I did see a spot on it where I actually did hit it with the magnet. And you can still see a little bit there. So I did buff this nail. That's why it looks matted in comparison to the others. We're going to use the Empress. As I said, it's a divination glass, and we're going to create a bauble. Because the Empress is a glass, every time we do a layer and magnify it, you will still be able to see the layers, all the different ways it's magnetized, no matter how many layers you do, because it's a glass. So we're going to start, it's a beautiful, beautiful gold. Really, and it is it shifts so well. It's lovely to use. So I am going to use my 8mm brush for this. And so we're basically drawing the shape of a round bauble as our base. So I'm trying to make sure that I get this circle as even as possible, because obviously this is the foundation or the base layer. So this will kind of determine how good or bad the bauble will look. So I tend to kind of fiddle around a bit with this, just to make sure I have it as kind of neat as I possibly can. Now we are going to outline it in the end, but again, I think it's better to get into the habit of trying to be as neat and getting your circles as good as possible, every time you have to try it. So yeah, that's me just finishing it off. Now I'm going to magnetize this layer. You don't have to, you could leave it like this and then magnetize the next, but I am going to magnetize it just to shift the magnetic pieces, and it does almost light it up. And I am going to add the thread the look of the thread that is holding the bauble up there. So I'm going to get the cat eye magnet. Now, all of you who know me know that I love magnetics, and as you can see here, I keep messing with this because I think I wanted one way, and then I decided, no, I prefer it this way. But also it gives you a chance to see how it shifts different. You see, the closer in I get, the way it goes. But you can also pull it out a good bit, or you can move it over and back like I just did there, all depending on what you want. I just want to light up that bottom layer. So we'll give it 30 seconds in the lamp, as it's just the gel polish. So now what we're going to do is we're going to build this up in layers. So this may be a bit boring. I hope not. I did consider cutting a good bit of it, but then I decided, no, I'll leave it. So this is me just really, we're building it up now. So this is our second layer. And again, making sure that I stay within the parameters of it and try and keep the circle as neat as possible. And making sure the gel is spread evenly, so there's no lumps or bumps while we're doing it. So you do need to ensure you have enough product on there to do it. Don't be afraid to put enough on. So this time we're going to get the dragon eye end of the magnet, and as you can see how quickly this pushes it, and you get like this really, really defined magnetic line. So I'm happy with that. We'll pop it in for a quick cure. I do flash cure them in between the layers. So on with our next layer. Again, the exact same thing, making sure it's nice and even and that you have enough on there, and keeping within your lines. Now, as I said, we will be outlining this, so don't worry too much if there's a bit of a blip. We will be able to cover it up with the outline. Okay, so we're going to get the dragon eye this time, but we're going to go from the other side. So we're going to push that over. Now it's entirely up to you what way you go with them, just depending on where you want your line to be. So yeah, I left that one as it was, and now, yep, gave it a quick cure. So there we are at the minute. So we've done 3 layers with 3 different movements with the magnet. And you definitely, I know it's very hard to see in the camera, but you can definitely see the 3 of them in real life. And you can see we have a little bit of a 3D, not too high, but we'll go and do another one. But it would be good for, I think, most clients, even those that don't like height, or pickers, because it isn't high enough that you'd be picking at it. It's a nice height. So basically just doing the exact same thing, making sure I have enough on the brush, going around it again, making sure I have it all over it, and trying to keep within my circle and keep it nice and neat as well. And then we're going to get our magnet. No, Carmel has decided she wants more divination glass. So you kind of know when you're putting it on if you don't have enough on there. So yeah, I'm just going to add another bit. And it does depend as well on how high you want it. So you can add more and do more layers if you wanted it more 3D. I'm definitely going with the kind of a middle of the road. It's not very 3D. It's just slightly raised off the nail. So again, just making sure it's nice and smooth on the nail, and spread evenly. As you can see, there it is. It is just slightly raised, so it's not overly raised, as I said. It's a nice kind of a height, not a height that would have a client picking or things getting caught in it. Okay, so we'll get our dragon eye again. No, we're going to get our cat eye. We'll do our beam this time. So you'll see the beam down the center, kind of going across diagonally there, just to show you that way. You obviously can move it, depending on where you want it, but you can actually see the other ones underneath. I know it doesn't look quite like that on camera. As I'm looking at it, I see it, but most definitely in real life, you can see the other magnetic shifts in the layers underneath. So yeah, I think we're going to leave it like that, and give it a full 30-second cure. So there you have it. Again, as I said, it is very difficult to see on camera, but you actually can see all of the lines, the magnetic lines that we did. You can definitely see them underneath. So now what we're going to do is outline the bauble with the 000. So this is a really fine detailer brush. So loading it the same way as we did the other one, and then placing down, say, a dot, and then starting my circle from there. And again, I tend to move slowly and in sections, just so as I can get it as neat and tidy as possible. Some people can just go like do the C one side and then do a C the other side. And especially here, I seem to have been at a very awkward angle. I wasn't quite able to manage that there, so I'm start pulling it over more at the top, just so as I can get at that other side, just to make sure that it is nice and even all the way around. Now again, you'll see I'm going back and over and back because I am I'm quite conscious that the tremor is not really good today, and that it is causing a bit of an issue with the lines, but yeah, I will get there. It's just a matter of taking my time and going back in and fixing. And sometimes I can be too particular, I guess. But yeah, that's me. So yeah, I look at it one way and I think, yeah, I'm happy, and then I move it and think, no, we need another little bit here. I don't know if the rest of you are like that. Yeah, I kind of look at it one way and think, yeah, no, that's fine. Then I turn it and I think, oh no. So yeah, sorry for my oh my God, perfectionism, or my trying to be perfect, I should say, not my, I'm definitely not perfect by any means. But again, it's good practice. I do find circles kind of hard to do. Always have done. I don't know why. But yeah, they definitely, they make me work at it. But yeah, I think I'm happy enough with that. So I think we will leave it alone and give it a cure. So it's 60 seconds because it is the Artisans. So now what we're going to do is add the cap and the little bows at the top of the bauble. I actually think I had the cap done there, but that is what I had done, was I had just put the little gold cap and then just added like the 2 little bows, one either side of the bauble. And I'm still using the 000 for this. Okay, so I did give that a flash cure. Now what I'm going to do is do some swirly gigs. So I'm going to use the 000 again. And I'm just going to do some swirly gigs down either side. Just to kind of finish it off. It kind of reminded me of like embossed wallpaper, or like even embossed Christmas wrapping paper that you'd see, or you know, the lids on Christmas boxes and things. So it's literally going one way, one the other way, kind of going in and out with them all the way down the nail. This one I wasn't 100% happy with, but I said, no, I'm not going messing with it, so I left it. It could do with being a bit better. It's a bit too thick at the bottom. But I went ahead. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm just checking where I kind of started on my other side, so it's fairly close. And again, doing the exact same thing, wrapping kind of one around the other. So starting in there and bringing it in the opposite direction. And again, this is, you could leave this part out by all means and just do tiny little stars or whatever around it, or just leave the bauble plain, or you could add hocus pocus. But I was trying to stick to the black, red and gold theme, so that's why I said I'd leave it as it is. And because the divination glass is a glass, it makes the bauble really interesting because you can see all the different magnetic shifts in it. Okay, so we've done our swirly gigs down each side. Now I am just going to make like a circle at the bottom on each side, just to kind of finish off that bottom piece. Yeah, and now I do know I went off screen here for a second, but really all I was doing was I'm putting dots at the cuticle area. You will be able to see them in a second when I come back up. But that's all I was doing. There you go. You can see what I was doing was adding dots up there just at the cuticle area, just to finish off that area. And then down at the bottom, I'm going to lay down just a dot in between the two circles. And then I'm going to pull a very, very thin line down between the two of them. Again, just to finish it off. So yeah, we'll give that the full cure of 60 seconds, as it was the artisan. So there you have a nice, pretty bauble, some swirly gigs and some beautiful magnetic shifts in it. So we're going to give it a no wipe top coat. As I said, I really liked this. It reminded me of like embossed wallpaper. I really liked that. And it's still, I know this one covers up most of the ombre on this nail, but you can see definitely can see the red at the top and the black at the bottom, even though we have covered quite a bit of the nail. So making sure go over it more than once so you have a nice smooth layer, and make sure you cap that free edge. And then we'll pop it into the lamp for 30 seconds. Okay, so there we have our nice bauble, as I said, with some like an embossed look. And yeah, the magnetic shifts in it are really, really lovely. So they are really better in real life, to be honest. You'd have to do it and see it. Okay, and of course we have our nice little line on our pinky. So on the ring finger, all I'm going to do is a simple Star of David. Really, really simple, again, because I want to just be able to keep the focus on the ombre, but just add that little touch to join them all in, and add a touch of gold to the nail. But very, very fine lines. So again, keeping it simple. So I'm going to lay down my dot right in the centre of where the Red Dawn is at its brightest, because it gives the effect of almost a halo then when the nail moves and you have the star painted on. So I'm pulling down and then pulling over one side. You can turn your client's hand, don't forget that. Then we're going to pull the other side. And then turning right around, pull from the centre up to the cuticle area. I always find this one the hardest to do because I'm conscious of making sure I don't hit the skin. So you'll see me going back over that one. Then we'll add the smaller lines in between these. Now, as you can see, it's a really, really fine star. So it's there, but it's not distracting from the ombre. It just adds that little bit of gold just to tie in with the rest of the nails. So I'm just going along, and again, as always happens with caramel, I see something and I think, yeah, it's done, and then I go, no, I don't like that bit, need to pull that one another little bit, making sure that I'm happy with them. So just pulling on that one a little bit longer. And then we'll pop it into the lamp for 60 seconds. Okay, so there's our little star. I did top coat this, but you can't see it. I forgot to record it while I was doing it, but I did top coat it in a no wipe top coat. So there's our first 3. Nice and simple. And this one, the bauble was the one that I wanted as kind of the accent nail, and the rest are really just to tie it all in. So in this one, we're going to do some gems. Now, gems and caramel are not really the best of friends, because I don't practice them enough. So you can see on my palette there, I have 1 small red and 2 kind of clear crystals. So we're only just going to put 3, and I am just going to put them in the center of the nail. I'm going to use no wipe top coat. If I was doing this on a client, I would put down some crystal totalis first on that center piece, and then no wipe top coat. I forgot to do it, to be honest, but they will still stay with the no wipe top coat. It's just you're positively sure they won't move anywhere once you have crystal totalis on it. But because obviously these are tips, it will be okay. But yeah, you are better off to do crystal totalis and then your layer of even if you're using matte or no wipe over that. So this is where the fun begins, and this is where you will see I had to cut quite a lot of this video because it took me forever to get these. And I think a lot of there are a few problems. I don't do them often enough. I need to start doing them more, just to get used to placing them. And I think as well, the tremor in my hand makes me even more nervous doing them, because they don't go where I want them to go, basically. So I've popped the red one there in the middle, and then I'm going to just put the 2 clear, one either side. And then trying to get them obviously even. So looking at it from a couple of angles just to make sure that they are evenly spaced, or as evenly as I can see them anyway. And then I am going to add some caviar beads in, just to make it look like, they're in a claw. I think it makes it look so much different when you have that look of it being set in claws, and the caviar beads are amazing for that. So we're going to use Nailchemy's gold caviar beads. And I do have some no wipe top coat on my palette, so I'm dipping the brush in that and then taking out my crystals. And as you will see, I have great fun trying to separate them and trying to get them into place. So I ended up actually having to cut quite a lot of this, but what I just did was I put 4 around each crystal, so that they looked like they were set in 4 claws. Even at the end, it doesn't look like there's 4 around each, especially around the red one, but there are. You just have to take my word for it. Because you couldn't possibly stay looking at the length of time it took me to actually put them on there. But yeah, so that's it on and cured. So yeah, I just need to practice them more. So on our thumb, I decided what we'd do is we would just do a velvet matte, because Red Dawn Ombre is absolutely beautiful matte as well. And I just wanted to show you that. I also love having my thumbs matte, as I love the texture of it. So I'm literally putting on a coat of velvet matte on this. And as I said, when you when it's cured, and you see it's the most beautiful matte. You can still see the shift in the colour. It's just a beautiful, I would have a set of just full matte ombre Red Dawn nails. So capping the free edge and then into the lamp for 30 seconds. So there we have it. Look how beautiful is that, and how you can still see the shift in the Red Dawn. I think that's just beautiful, and would make a great background for a fireplace, or Christmas. So there we have them. So our pinky, we used Leo, just to sugar down that line. We used the Artisan Gold to do our Star of David. We used the Empress from the Divination Glass collection to do our bauble, and some of the gold artisan then to do our swirly gigs. And then we used the chakra, and I can't remember which one it was. I think it's the heart, is it? Could be wrong on that one. And then some Red Dawn, just with the velvet mat. So yeah, it's just to make them a bit more Christmas. But as you can see, they are quite beautiful just on their own, and how you can tie them into any season. And you still can do some art in them and still not lose the lovely ombre effect on them. So yeah, that was it. So I hope you enjoyed that, and hopefully I'll see you soon with some more. So see you soon. Bye.